aggressive, angry, salty. That's what we're doing today. So, here's the thing. The way a lot of people approach getting into the right college is just wrong. And today, I'm going to talk about what everyone, including myself, does wrong so that maybe you can understand how to do it right. And I'm going to just get straight to the bottom line, which is that most people are applying to the wrong colleges. And why are they applying to the wrong colleges? Because they're not spending enough time doing the right research. And the root of this problem is that most people don't really understand or can't really articulate why they want to go to college. And I say want, not why they should go to college or why they feel like they have to go to college, because everyone has answers to those questions, like,
oh, I should get a degree because you're supposed to make more money if you have a degree.
Or,
oh, I just don't want to get a job right out of high school, so I'm going to go to college because I guess that's the natural progression of things.
those are not good enough answers, because those answers won't help you find the best college for you. And the reason you need those answers is because when you go to college, you should know what you're paying for. When you choose a college, you should know exactly what value you are going to get out of those 4 years. You are spending thousands of dollars. And arguably, for most people, the idea of a return on investment, or the idea that you're going to make more money over your lifetime because of those thousands of dollars you spent now, isn't necessarily true. In some cases, it is. In some cases, there's a really clear price tag to salary comparison. For example, if you're going into a very specific kind of engineering, or if you're getting your MD to be a doctor, those might have a really clear return on investment in purely monetary terms. But for a lot of people, it's not clear what kind of job or what kind of salary you're really going to end up with. And it's also not clear what kind of job or what kind of salary you would have ended up with if you hadn't gone to college and if you had gone straight into the field or taken a different route into that job. So the return on investment, the idea that you're going to make more money by spending all this money now, it's a bit gray, it's a bit iffy. Therefore, most people, when going to college, need to understand the other kinds of value they are getting out of that experience. Because value is subjective. The value that you get out of college is different than the value that I'm going to get out of college, is different than the value that every Brad, Chad, Stacy is getting out of college. Therefore, you need to understand why you specifically want to go to college, to understand what value you are going to get out of college. For example, some people might want to go to college because they want to pursue a certain sport. And so the value they get out of college is going to be the potential to play that sport professionally. That is not a value that I'm getting out of college. Therefore, that is not something that I am considering paying for, and is not something that is relevant to me when picking a college. And so, the reason I say you aren't doing the right kind of research, or enough of the right kind of research, is because you need to know what value you specifically are going to get out of college. In your best case scenario, the absolute perfect college experience, what are you going to get out of it? You should know that, because you should be trying to pick the college and craft outside factors to force you to get that value, okay? You can't just say, oh, I can probably make it happen at any college, because it is inevitable that with academics and money stress and everything else that life happens, you are not going to be able to make it work. You need everything around you to be helping you and pushing you to make that happen. For example, if you want to be a pro basketball player, you would not go to a school that does not have a competitive basketball program. You wouldn't go to a school that just does like intramural sports, because you're not going to be able to just find time and a way to make that happen on the side, most likely. You know, that's like putting too many obstacles in front of yourself that you don't need to be putting in front of yourself. You get it? And so you should be doing research on colleges that directly relates to the value you want to get out of college. And in a lot of cases, the value that you want to get out of college is not going to be very easy to discern from websites and brochures and stuff that's just trying to talk up the college and make it seem like you can do anything at this college, because that's not always the case. And in particular, when thinking about the value that you want to get out of college, you should be considering the fact that you are 17 or 18 years old, and at the end of college, you're going to be like 22 years old, and in those 4 years, you will have become an adult in a way that you didn't become when you just turned 18, but in a way that will lead you into the rest of your life. The college you're picking should help you become the kind of adult that you want to be. You feel? Okay. So if you want to be the kind of adult that has like 30 friends that still live in the same town and gather for tea regularly and gossip because you just love that social interaction, you probably want to go to a college with a really intense social scene, probably Greek life, something like that, where you'll be able to build those connections and be around people that are going to want to settle down in one place and be around people that are going to continue wanting that kind of fluffy, for lack of better word, social interaction. In order to determine if you're going to find the right kind of friends or the kind of friends that you want to be around at a college, you need to talk to people who are currently going to that college, because campus culture is a very real thing. Okay? Colleges can seem very similar. A lot of college students seem very similar. You will definitely meet cool, interesting people on any college campus. But the sort of group or mob mentality that exists on a college campus is going to be a bit different from school to school. Once you find a school that seems like it's going to fit your criteria for the value that you want, you need to actually talk to some of the students that go there in order to understand if the mentality on campus is really the mentality that you want to adapt. And this also has to do with maybe if you want a competitive culture or a more collaborative culture. Those are real distinctions. Like in a competitive culture, you're going to talk to students and they're going to care about grades. They're going to care about GPA. They're going to care about class rank. They're going to be worried about how well someone else is doing. It's probably a school that has a lot of professors that grade on a curve, which means that they encourage comparison between the students. If you want to be the kind of person who focuses on winning and thinks that they need to come out on top, which it might sound like I'm saying that that's bad, but it's just because it's like not me. There's not anything inherently wrong with that, because that kind of mentality can drive you to achieve a lot. But if you think that's you, then that's the kind of school you want to be at. But if you think that you do better when people don't really care about grades, everyone's just trying to maybe focus on the subject matter or focus on helping each other improve, if you think you do way better with teamwork, you might not want a school that does a lot of grading on curves or where everyone cares about grades and GPA and everyone is compared a lot. And that sort of thing isn't really obvious on like college websites. You kind of need to interact with a student. This could be not person-to-person direct interaction like me. I'm a student at a college and I happen to put videos on the internet about me being a student at said college. Other people do that too. I'm not the first and only one. So you can find that kind of content, which is more honest perhaps, or less filtered than the stuff that a school is putting out themselves. You can try to do online chat or like Skype calls with students. Colleges want you to come to their school, so generally if you express interest, they'll try to give you what you want to make you decide to go there. So you could even like email the college admissions office or a particular counselor or something and say,
"Hey, I think your school is interesting, but I really want to talk to a current student. Do you have anyone that would spend 30 minutes on Skype with me?"
The answer is very likely to be yes. That's the kind of research that you should be doing. And then on said Skype call, or if you can visit a campus in person, you should be trying to get a feel for what the student is usually talking about, what they're inclined to talk about, what they're used to hearing and being a part of in their social circles. And also you can directly ask about those value points that matter a lot to you, to hear their honest opinion on whether that's something that's prioritized on campus. You will also discover that if you are not doing this right kind of research, you're probably applying to the wrong number of schools as well. You are probably either applying to way too many schools or not nearly enough schools. On the way too many schools side, you have people like me who thought that they could just play the odds and apply to a good handful, 8 to 10 really good schools, and have a decent shot of getting into at least a couple of them. And I can say from personal experience that that doesn't really work out. And then on the other side of things, you have people who apply to just 2 or 3 schools. The schools that are easy, the schools that are in their hometown or in their state that have a really good shot of accepting them and they think are just going to be good enough. Surprisingly enough, both of these people have not done enough research. Even though this one applied to 12 to 15 schools, they probably don't actually know enough about any of those schools individually to be confident that they're going to give them the value that they want. Because if this is the amount of time that you're going to spend on getting into a college, let's say you split it right in half between research and applying to schools, and you apply to 15 schools. I think you would be better off spending some of that time applying, instead researching the schools a bit more, and then applying to fewer schools that you understand better and therefore have a better chance at doing a really good application for, and are also more likely to actually want to attend. Duh. And so, to recap, you're probably applying to the wrong schools if you have not clarified what value you specifically want to get out of college and done the research to determine which schools are going to best push you and help you to get that value out of your 4 years and thousands of dollars, much of which is probably debt. If you have any questions, please drop them below. If there's anything else about college you would like me to talk about, feel free to comment that as well. Thank you for joining me on my floor today, and I'll see you next time. Bye! Also, subscribe, please.